Ferrari's 2026 era hadn't even properly begun, and already something felt off. A brand new rule set, a total reset, a once-in-a-generation opportunity. And yet, within hours of the SF-26 touching the circuit, the car was seen standing completely still. No smoke, no visible damage, just silence. Engineers sprinting toward it, cameras rolling, and fans everywhere are asking the same uncomfortable question: is this really how Ferrari's future starts? Before we break this down properly, if you want sharp, no-fluff Formula One analysis all season long, make sure you're subscribed to F1 Grid, because what happened here is far bigger than one stopped car. This wasn't a routine shakedown. This was Lewis Hamilton's first public outing in Ferrari's most important car in over a decade. The machine designed to end a championship drought that's haunted Maranello since 2008. The car meant to give Hamilton a shot at an unprecedented 8th world title. And instead of dominance, the first images told a story of uncertainty. The run took place at Ferrari's private Fiorano circuit under carefully controlled conditions. Damp track, limited mileage, a safe environment, everything engineered to minimize risk. At first, it looked normal. Systems checks, installation laps, a symbolic beginning. And then the footage emerged. The SF-26 stationary, marshals nearby, Ferrari personnel rushing in. The car was later escorted back to the garage. Ferrari quickly downplayed the moment, insisting it was procedural rather than mechanical. But in Formula One, context is everything, and Ferrari's recent history means moments like this never exist in isolation. Because this test didn't happen in a vacuum, it came after a brutal 2025 season. No wins, no podiums for Hamilton. Ferrari slid to 4th in the Constructors' Championship, a campaign so disappointing it triggered internal restructuring. For the first time in his entire career, Lewis Hamilton went a full season without standing on the podium. That's the backdrop. That's why fans didn't panic, they remembered. And Ferrari's preparation for 2026 hasn't exactly eased concerns. Reports suggest the SF-26 chassis passed approval at the last possible moment. The car was allegedly fully assembled just a day before its reveal. Meanwhile, Mercedes rolled out their W17 and immediately logged near maximum mileage without drama. In an era where margins are microscopic, optics matter, and Ferraris weren't great.
But here's where the narrative shifts. Because the SF-26 isn't cautious, it isn't conservative, it's bold. Ferrari have described this car as a complete architectural reset, not an evolution, not a refinement, but a ground-up rethink built purely for the 2026 regulations. The bodywork is cleaner and tighter, optimized aggressively for weight reduction. Ferrari even abandoned their familiar matte finish, returning to glossy paint purely to save grams. Under these rules, every gram matters. The suspension choice raised eyebrows across the paddock. Ferrari have committed to pushrod suspension at both ends of the car. The last time they ran a pushrod rear suspension was 2011. Most rivals chose different layouts, but Ferrari believed this configuration gives them the widest long-term development window. This isn't about instant lap time, it's about adaptability, something Ferrari have struggled with under stable regulations.
Then there's the power unit. Ferrari are believed to have introduced steel alloy cylinder heads instead of aluminum in a radical move. Steel tolerates higher temperatures and pressures, opening the door to more aggressive combustion strategies, more efficiency, more power, and inevitably more risk. Early whispers suggested reliability concerns, though Ferrari insist those issues are already addressed. Testing exists for this reason, but again, perception matters. While Ferrari were dealing with scrutiny, Mercedes were doing something else entirely, projecting calm confidence. The contrast between the two teams couldn't be clearer. Mercedes treated the 2026 reset like a long-term engineering project, locking in core concepts early and refining relentlessly. Ferrari appeared to chase performance until the final moments. Mercedes prioritized stability first, performance second. Ferrari flipped that equation, and that ambition is written all over the SF-26. Paddock sources suggest Ferrari's simulations indicate a very narrow operating window, meaning the car could be exceptionally fast when everything aligns, but brutally unforgiving when it doesn't. That explains the aggressive floor geometry, the compact rear packaging, and the extremely tight cooling layout. These aren't defensive choices. These are high-risk, high-reward decisions. History, however, hasn't been kind to Ferrari when they build cars on the edge. When conditions change or development stalls, those concepts quickly become liabilities. That's why early testing matters so much. Ferrari don't just need speed, they need correlation, wind tunnel data matching track reality, simulations matching behavior. If that alignment isn't there now, the season can unravel fast. This is where Lewis Hamilton becomes critical. Few drivers in Formula One history can sense aerodynamic instability like Hamilton. His ability to feel subtle shifts in rear grip, braking confidence, and power deployment could determine whether Ferrari refine this concept into a contender or spend another year chasing problems.
Meanwhile, Mercedes have already revealed something unsettling. Onboard footage showed their front wing visibly changing profile on straights, active aerodynamics reducing drag in real time. It wasn't theoretical, it was visible. And shortly after, similar concepts were spotted on Ferrari's SF-26 floor, a potential loophole, a clever interpretation of airflow management, legal brilliance or regulation gray area. Either way, Ferrari are clearly not playing it safe. The floor itself is one of the SF-26's most aggressive elements. Compared to Mercedes, Ferrari's design features stronger flow control structures toward the rear, targeting stability under acceleration, critical under the new power deployment rules. But aggressive floors are notoriously sensitive. They work until they don't, and when they fail suddenly. All of this places enormous pressure on Hamilton. At 41, he's entering the most complex regulation change of his career. Different aerodynamics, different power delivery, different driving styles, and he's doing it inside a team still redefining itself. Ferrari have already made changes. Hamilton's race engineer, Riccardo Adami, has been reassigned after a partnership that never fully clicked. A new voice, another adjustment, another variable. Then there's Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's benchmark, their most consistent performer. Even he couldn't extract results from the SF-25, and he's been clear, his future depends on Ferrari delivering a winning car. The SF-26 isn't just a reset, it's a crossroads. The Barcelona test will be the real reckoning. Multiple days, every team is on track, no hiding, no controlled optics. If Ferrari's concepts work, they emerge as genuine contenders. If reliability issues persist, the narrative will spiral quickly. Add to that the ongoing engine controversy. Mercedes and Red Bull are rumored to have exploited compression ratio interpretations to unlock a power advantage. Ferrari, Honda, and Audi have pushed the FIA for clarification. None came. If that advantage is real, Ferrari's chassis must compensate perfectly.
That's why the stationary car matters, not because it guarantees failure, but because Ferrari no longer gets the benefit of the doubt. When Mercedes stop, people expect solutions. When Ferrari stops, people expect it to collapse. That perception exists because Ferrari earned it. Fred Vasseur insists everything is on track, that these challenges are normal, that this is all part of the process. And maybe he's right. But narratives are written early. New rules, new car, the greatest driver of his generation in red, and already questions are louder than answers. Ferrari don't need perfection right now. They need clarity, momentum, and belief. Because if doubt defines the opening chapter of this era, it may define the entire season before a single competitive lap is completed.
If you want every major 2026 story broken down without hype or bias, make sure you're subscribed to F1 Grid. The world is watching, and Ferrari's next move may decide far more than they realize.